All right, it's another episode of the Cedric Maxwell Podcast. I am Josue Pavon alongside Cedric Maxwell. We have Marcus Smart back in Boston. We got the NBA Cup, which I know you got a strong take on that and how it benefits the Celtics. And we got to talk about what Paul Pierce said about the 2008 Celtics team toughness compared to the team that won it all in 2024, man. I thought it was an interesting take. And also interesting how people have responded to it, too. We'll get into that.
Yeah, there's one more thing we're going to talk about, and I know you didn't have this on your radar, but Gilbert Arenas on his podcast started going at Payton Pritchard and Sam House was saying the only reason they're with the Celtics right now because like we haven't gotten by that yet. Gilbert, come on, man.
Come on, Gil. Are
you serious? He said the hype really for Pritchard, but we'll get into it in a minute. But you go ahead. We'll circle back around.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, I mean, I was going to throw it to you because I want you to paint the picture for me how TD Garden was, with Marcus Smart back in the building. I did read about him bringing his 6-month-old kid, trying to show him just how appreciative, the city is and what he did in Boston. And I thought it was pretty cool because, obviously the kid's not going to remember that, but they can look back on it years from now and say, that had happened and show them the pictures and show them, them on the parquet and all that. But what was that like? What was it like at TD Garden?
It was cool really seeing Marcus there, a little bit down from the last time the first time he came back when he was injured and they had the tribute. I thought that was really cool. This time he still got under a surrounding ovation, standing ovation when he came in the game. He's not starting now, so you brought him off the bench. And last night his shot was just off. Last night he had some real good looks, and he only made one. I think he had one 3-pointer. Other than that, he couldn't buy one if he had $1,000 in his hand. He just couldn't do it. But the atmosphere was cool. But boy, last night it was John Morant and Jackson. Jaren Jackson last night.
Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson was sensational last night. Celtics never had an answer. At some point, I think John Morant said he had been saying, "I'm not dunking anymore." But last night in the TD Garden, he lied because he came in with some backhanded double pump, throw it in, and I mean, the Garden was just a buzz. And the Celtics still had, a chance really crazy. Every game this year in the fourth quarter, the Celtics have had the lead or been in the lead. And that's kind of crazy. You think sometimes you're going to get blown out of a game. The Celtics just haven't been that team. But a very good game last night. But to me, the Celtics have been stumbling here in these last couple of games. It was a tough schedule. They have Milwaukee on one night, and then the second night of back-to-back to have Memphis here. I think this break that the Celtics are going to have is going to pay dividends to them if they're going to win the championship because the Celtics don't play again until Thursday, and then they play Detroit Thursday. So the day is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So if you're Joe Mazzulla right now, I'd say to the players, I don't want to see you again until Tuesday. Everybody take a couple of days off, go with your family, relax, take it easy. And I think it's just going to pay dividends for them because they seem like they're a tired bunch of teams right now, a tired team. Because when you are hunting the championship, there are teams that are hunting you.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about this team, though. There was no championship hangover. And maybe this is sort of that stretch where they can kind of, relax a bit, get a couple of days off and come back even stronger than they started. Because let's face it, man, a lot of these championship teams don't come out of the gates the way the Celtics have this season. I think they've been great. I mean, okay, they're not number one. Cleveland Cavaliers have been incredible, but that doesn't mean exactly, they're out of that picture. They've maintained, that momentum at the top of the Eastern Conference. And that's important. I really do think that's important, especially coming off a championship. And, as in terms of, Marcus coming back to TD Garden, this is the first time he looked up and he saw a new championship banner. There's emotions already attached going back to that building, but to see, see it in person, I think it's got to be, different. I mean, if I was in that room, I'm asking him about that, like, what's that like? You look up like, wow, 2024, like it's hard to play through that. And then you come off the bench, I think it was tough for him to go out there and expect, a phenomenal game out of him. I mean, he did drop 25 the other night, not too long ago, but it's a lot, that's a lot of emotions going through you, back at TD Garden.
Well, a couple of reporters asked him about it, and they said, asked about the championship, and he's still a little salty because he's like, he said, yeah, I come here and I see the championship, but I still feel like I was a part of it. I mean, people can kick at me all they want to, but this still was home. And I did big time work while I was here. So I think he's still in the excuse me mode for you people, or F you for the people who don't like me. And that's just going to haunt him because it was his home. Marcus Smart was and is a beloved figure in this town. And it's just kind of saddens me a little bit that, he did not get a chance to taste the wine. When you talk about winning the championship and celebrating that way, that's just tough.
Yeah, plus finding out the way he did. I mean, he did mention that before the game, right? And that's something he talked about weeks after the trade. I mean, the first time he spoke about it, I remember speaking with him. It was like three of us. It was like me, Bobby, and Gary Washburn, or Corrales was there as well. But that was the main thing, was that he was told he was safe. But that happens in the NBA. I mean, we all seen that in the past. But for him to say it now, again, it's just like, obviously it still stings a little bit. But he understands, at the end of the day, like he said, it's a good trade. It's a basketball trade.
You got to understand business in the NBA, and I think that's the one thing that I grudge the fans about. When a player decides that he wants to leave, then fans get on him. Oh, he's unhappy. He doesn't want to be here.
Traitor.
But absolutely. But when he gets traded, not a lot said by that. Not people don't come out the woodworks and say a bunch of stuff. So I think that to me is really just kind of disheartening when I think about the way the NBA is and how it will always be.
Right. And of course, the Grizzlies won 127 to 121. It's funny because, Max, before we even hit record, I'm looking it up. I'm chalking it up as a win. I'm like, let's see how many points did the Celtics beat them, this time. And I'm like, man, they lost. I know Marcus didn't have a great game. That I knew, but I'm like, they lost the game. Yeah. But with that being said, how do you feel about the Grizzlies? They didn't get, because of injuries last year. Obviously, they had to, everything was derailed. But this year, guys are coming back into the fold. Jaws healthy again. Because, man, I gotta say, Max, in the beginning of the season, I was like, maybe Mark is going to be one of those guys that gets moved before the deadline and he latches onto a team that's destined for a deep playoff run or something like that. Because I want to see him back in the playoffs, Max. I want to see Marcus be Marcus in those big time moments, man. We all know that he lives for those.
Well, he will be. This team is really good. I mean, they're solid with Baines, and they got shooters, and they got rebound. They got defenders. Jackson was the defensive player of the year, but last night he was sensational on the offensive end. Jai seems like he's back in the fold right now. Last night, between Jackson and I want to say it was Jackson and Ja, both those guys were shooting about 25% from the 3-point line. Last night, I think they shot over 50%, and from the 3-point line, just sensational. Celtics never really had an answer, and again, it just seemed like everything the Celtics did, they countered. And but it was a good game. It was a really good game. Celtics had an opportunity to win it, and the biggest thing about the Celtics last night in losing the game, they missed, I want to say, 10 or 11 free throws in a game like that, where they were one of the top free throw shooting teams in the league. Yeah. Just missed two. Pritchard, who has been so good, missed one. Jaylen Brown missed about 3. Tatum missed 3. So it was those numbers alone would have put you ahead. And, if you just shot your normal percentage, you'd have been good to go.
Yeah, definitely, man. Well, they get this nice break, nice stretch. They can regroup and get back to their winning ways, right? Like you said, I mean, Joe Mazzulla should be telling these guys at least take 2 days off and don't even touch a basketball. Relax, take it easy, like you said.
Don't touch it. Go watch football. Be with your family. Take it easy. This is what this should be about right now. And I'm sure Joe is all about family, so he'll probably do just that.
Right.
He probably won't be away from the game, but the players should be away. And look at the two teams that have been added to your roster here. To the
Your schedule. Yeah.
You got Detroit, just beat handily, coming back into your building on Thursday. And then the other team they add into the schedule is they have Washington. And the Wizards have been a mess this year, except when they played Denver and they dropped, Jokic dropped 57 points on them, and they still beat Denver. So, but these are two games that are being added to the schedule, which are very favorable for the Boston Celtics.
Absolutely. 100%, man. Yeah, those two teams there should be 2 W's.
I remind everyone with this episode is powered by Prize Picks. If you haven't signed up already, you have to sign up because Prize Picks got some really good deals going on, and it makes it super easy for you for everyone out there who's just trying to put a little action in the middle of watching their game, right? Middle of your entertaining experience of watching the games, it makes it that much more entertaining, and Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players, so let's say it's Jason Tatum for more or less than 22 points or Jaylen Brown in the same regard. It is that simple. Like, for example, Jason Tatum for more than 29 points, Anthony Edwards for more or less 27 points. You got guys like Anthony Davis, let's say, for more or less 12 rebounds. You pick more or less, and it's that simple. So if you haven't already, download the app today, use the code CLNS, and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup.
You know what?
That's CLNS. Hold on a second back. That's CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Make sure you download the app as Prize Picks. Run your game.
Yeah, run your game. Let me ask you about this Pritchard thing, though.
Yeah, let's get into that. Yeah, that's a good call.
I thought the white flight, white player thing, I thought that was kind of in the past. I thought I was the one that had to deal with it. But when he says the only reason Pritchard and Hauser are playing, he said because they're white. No, Pritchard Hauser can play. And Pritchard mentioned it. He said, I'm disappointed in Gilbert Arenas because I like the way he said, I'm disappointed in Gilbert Arenas because I'm a big fan of his. Mm-hmm. And for him to have that opinion is very disappointing. And for me, I don't know, Gilbert Arenas in this case, I mean, dude, come on. I mean, I just don't quite understand that logic that you're talking about. I could see him say that about some players in this league, but those two guys, they do what Joe Mazzulla wants, and Pritchard has exceeded expectations this year. And right now, he's the leading candidate for Sixth Man of the Year.
Right. And plus, he's been doing this, Max. Like, this isn't new. It's like, come on, Gilbert. Like, where you been? Like, these guys didn't just pop up out of nowhere, and they're champions. You're going to talk about some 2 champions like that? Like, they're already in the rotation. They've proven themselves. Like, this isn't like some breakout year from a rookie that everyone's going crazy over. Yeah, I mean, he has to work for this.
This isn't like they say that about the Connect kid that's in
right in LA. Yeah, the rookie.
If you're going say about a rookie who's coming in who's barely playing, I think that's what you should say. And so I'm disappointed too in Gilbert Arenas and what he had to say about those 2 particular guys.
I just feel like sometimes with Gilbert and other people too, but specifically with Gilbert, right? Like, you got to differentiate like the BS talk and legitimate takes. Like, when you're on a podcast, okay, yeah, of course you can, we swear, we do, but we're giving you honest takes, but without the BS, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm talking about, Max, like the barbershop talk. Like, people throw things out there and you laugh and you're like,
real. Keep it real.
But Yeah, exactly. Keeping it real, I guess. But at the same time, it's like sometimes, and I know you've been there, Max. People will just say something just to get a reaction or just to kind of joke around. But like you're Gilbert Arenas, man. You can't be doing that. Like you're doing a podcast. People take you seriously. I mean, you were a legitimate star, and obviously, what Pritchard said, it resonates with that fact. Like, man, I was a fan of that dude. You know what I mean? And especially the way he played, score first point guard. In that era, like that's. I can see a young Pritchard being like, "Yo, I'm going to be a dude like that," and I just think it's unfortunate for him to go out and just say that, because deep down inside, it's like, wait, do you really believe that, Gil, or do you just not? You haven't been watching. You haven't been following Pritchard. That's what it is. Just say that.
Are you sitting in the shop? That's when you're sitting in the barber shop getting your hair cut, and somebody says something, you're going, "What? What did he say?"
Yeah. Just to get the reaction, right?
What the hell did you say? And the whole barbershop goes, "Ooh, that is." I think that's one of the best episodes I did love about LeBron James when they had it was him.
Oh, that's the show. Yeah,
and
that's a great show.
They had the barbershop thing. That's so cool because that is really what goes on. That was the only thing I've ever said, and I'm not a fan of our upcoming president, and I'll say this, and I can get whatever heat that somebody wants to generate towards me, but when he was talking about this young lady, and he said and he did this to her and that to her, and then he was interviewed later on, and that's locker room talk. And that's the only time I've ever agreed with this man, because people do talk like that in the locker room. But what was disappointing to me is to hearing people call Hillary Clinton up and saying, "We don't talk like that in the locker room." Who doesn't talk like that? What men don't talk like that in a locker room about women? Who doesn't do that? I'm not making I'm not excusing anybody, but those are locker room talks that are braggish. They're out of their head talking shit about
young guys too. Young guys.
Yeah. So for you for people sometimes to criticize stuff, I that's the only time I've heard Donald Trump say something that I possibly agree with, when you talk about things that happen in the locker room or things that are said in the locker room. But normally things that are said in the locker room don't come out of the locker room. They stay in the locker room. It's like Vegas. What goes on in Vegas, it stays in Vegas.
Right. I mean, this obviously levels to it, though.
Do they say that about Oklahoma? OKC?
Not quite. No, not quite.
How is the life there for a young Josue Pavon? How's life there? Is it your social? Because I like to live vicariously through you as a younger man.
To be honest, man, I just been working, man. Like, there's a few spots I go to, like there's like my go-to spots to get food and stuff. But I haven't really been out like that.
Come on, Josue. What do we always say? Keep it on the what?
100.
Keep it on the 100. Come on, Josue. How old are you right now? How old are you? 30 what? 35 years. Okay. You guys at that age, you live and breathe women. That's what you think about all the time.
Come on, Max.
I was 35 at one time. I know what it was like. Come on. Are you serious?
I've been going out a bit, but it's not. It's just different. It's not the same type of it's not the same type of city like a Boston or New York or nothing like that. But it's different. I'm easing into it. Put it that way, Max. I'm not just jumping in. All right, I'm working out.
Do you have to ease into it? Because is it like when they show these towns in the old West and they have.
I swear that's what everyone thinks I'm dealing with, man. People think I'm walking down dirt roads and got my cowboy boots on and freaking something. What do you call it? The thing the cowboys be having in their mouth, like a thing of hay or something. Like I'm gonna come back with an accent and shit.
Straw.
Straw. Right. Like it's the old Western. Like, come on, man.
But I tell you this though, which is a true fact. I don't think I've ever seen that many in my life. OKC and Dallas trucks, just pickup trucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one time I was renting a truck in San Antonio. I wanted to go someplace, so I went to the car place, the rental car place. Man, that must have been damn 35 trucks they had, and they were flatbeds. I'm like, I ended up getting a flatbed truck. I was riding to the state with a flatbed.
You pulled up with a flatbed.
I pulled up in that bitch with a. I was going to see somebody in Texas. I was meeting them. I was in San Antonio. I was meeting.
Yo, you might as well put the hat on that point, man. Just
I was like, man, all I needed was the rack in the back with the shotgun. I'd have felt at home. So it's those cities to me.
That's a big difference, Max. Yeah, that's now you mentioned it. A lot of places it says like signs like don't bring your firearms or don't come in there. I'm like, whoa, like you don't see that in Boston. What else? Man, they have these things out front where you go. It cleans the bottom of your boots because the dirt out here is different, man. They call it that rust. It's like almost like a clay colored. So for certain people who've been working out, working outside, they can rub all that stuff off their feet because it gets stuck underneath. You don't see that shit in Boston, man. I'm like, man, but yeah, the subtle differences like that I'm picking up on.
OKC.
Yeah, if I come back with an accent, man, I'm gonna be pissed though.
So the other thing we haven't touched on is what is going horribly wrong right now in Los Angeles.
No, I'm sure you want to talk about that.
Oh my God. I was seeing I saw a late night thing that they had post game, and with my guy James Worthy, and they had just played in Miami and got beat.
James Worthy must be going through it.
He was
lighting no cigars this season.
Oh my God, he had me laughing. I was laughing so hard. He was like, it's like the way they played tonight, and the next game was going to be in Atlanta.
Max, did you see the way they're playing defense? Hold on, we got to talk about that Miami game.
Oh, yeah.
Clips where they're literally, it's a turnstile. Like nobody's fighting to beat someone to the spot. Everyone's passing the ball around to find the open man. Everyone's looking around.
They're like,
it reminded me of? It reminded me in high school when my coach would be, he called it dummy defense. When we really want to get down a play, and he wanted defense to kind of like take it easy. It was like they're playing dummy defense, like they're going through sets and plays and, and watching these guys just go on a run. Man, that was crazy.
It was, but Worthy, what he ended up saying later on, he said, what they need to do is they just need to get on. They need to get on a bus and ride from Atlanta. It's like NBA team. Ride from Atlanta, ride from Miami to Atlanta. They need to stop at White Castles, get some hamburgers, and then get on the bus and ride so they could think about what they need to do. I was like, I was in tears. And then for them to go up to Atlanta and play a team that's one of the hotter teams and have to go into overtime, that shows you the consistency or inconsistency of your team emotionally when you're able to get up for a team like Atlanta, but you go down there and lay an egg in Miami. I know it's South Bay. I know it's South, whatever it is in Atlanta, whatever it is in Miami. South Beach. I know it's South Beach, but
Bayside.
Still, it's just like if LeBron is coming back to an area, I don't know what's going on out there. It just seemed like a mess, and I don't know how they're going to fix it.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, man, especially for the rookie head coach and JJ, which I thought it was funny how in sync he was with LeBron. They're relaying everything that he's saying, and LeBron's like, he's right. He's right. I'm like, man.
But
as long as those two are cool, I guess.
Yeah, but he says specifically, what is he right about? What does he write? Everything. No. Give me one thing that you think that he's right. Everything. Don't ask me again. Everything. Like,
you know what that sounds like to me, Max? You know what that's like to me? Don't get rid of my dude. Don't even think about that narrative because we're not going there yet. You know what I mean? Maybe it'll happen at some point, but not yet. He's still the coach. He's still my guy. I'm like, okay, all right, LeBron.
When Milwaukee came through, Darvin Ham is back now with the Bucks under Doc Rivers. And I saw him on the bench, and I ran over and grabbed him. I said, "God damn it, you escaped from LA." And he said, "Yes, I did." he said that craziness out there. He said it was crazy. He said it was
we need him.
Insane.
We need him on a podcast.
Really like him. And yeah, he is just he's really funny. But man, the pressure that he felt probably while he was there, and to get rid of him. I mean, actually, they had a better record when he was there. Mm-hmm. When he was there coaching. So it's just kind of crazy.
It is, man, because I think he was going through it. He was stressed out because he knew the what was bound to happen. It was inevitable. He was going to be the fall guy, like it happens time and time again.
End game was going to be the end game, Josue. Somebody at the end of the day has to take the bag, and it's not going to. Normally, it's not going to be the players. It's going to be the coach. You can replace the coach, but with these contracts, you're not replacing the players. The only way the Lakers get better to me is they have to make some radical moves. And Michael Wilborn said, he said that's what, Anthony Davis is still in his prime, but LeBron, and I love him as a player, but he sucks the air out of a building. And because the focus is on him, and as a younger player, as an older player, he should be the helper, not the guy carrying the luggage. He should be the guy getting the luggage delivered to his room and paying the tip. He's not doing that. He's still trying to go, and that's going to be tough for those guys.
Game Time. All right. Download the Game Time app if you haven't. Game Time is your go-to app for any events going on, especially right now being football season, tailgate season, whether college football, whether it's the NFL, and it's the holiday season. All right. People out there who want to take your date out to the theater district, maybe a nice play or something like that. I think the Grinch is coming into town. Game Time is your go-to spot for the best deals around. All right. I'm talking about.
Can I get some from Stop and Shop, or will they help me out there or not?
No, man. No, this is for tickets only, Max. All right. All right. We're talking about all-in pricing. You got your seat views, and you got the lowest price guaranteed thanks to Game Time app. Download the Game Time app and take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Use the code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CLNS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
Big deal, no big deal. That the streak of missed threes. Who was it? 20 in a row you missed? That's a lot, man.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. And
is that Father Time, Max? Like you said, is that Father Time knocking on that door?
Father Time is fighting Father Time like a mug.
He's about 3 weeks from 40, man. 3 weeks.
Yeah, but he's still battling it. But it's just that at a certain point, Father Time gonna win. It's inevitable. I don't care who you are as a player, and I applaud him. I wish I had a hat. I'd take my hat off and tip it to him because I've never seen anything like this. Football is different. When we talk about having Brady out there at 40 or whatever he was, throwing the football, he ain't really running off all over the field. He take a couple of chop steps, ring back, he throws the ball. But for LeBron James to run up and down an NBA floor, banging with these young bulls, that to me, I marvel at that.
It's crazy.
I can't tell you enough how I remember, because I'm just thinking to myself at 40. When I got to be 40, that's the last thing I want to do is play some NBA basketball at a high level. It's like, are you crazy? Like, people just ask me, like, I mean, I was in my 40s. I was walking through a gym that I was working out, and they had a basketball thing. Equinox had a basketball
court,
little area in there, court in there, and I was walking through with some young guys about your age. Excuse me, yo, OG. We got
We got 9.
We got
Yeah,
no.
we need
We
one.
got 5. We got 5. We need another one to make 6.
Oh, he's trying to play half court. Oh, come on, Max, get in there.
Oh, dude, are you serious? What? First of all, I'm thinking like, what am I gonna gain here? Well, young man, what am I gaining here? Are they giving me a trophy after I get through?
He said, "How much for this appearance?
What am I going for? What am I getting here? Other than what can I possibly get here other than an Achilles that is ripped or something? What can I do? I can see myself. I wouldn't be, but see, I wouldn't been pissed off at them. I've been pissed off at me for making that decision. So
They don't have to go through that. You got to go through that Achilles injury.
So LeBron at 40 to do what he's doing right now is absolutely amazing to me. Amazing. But all the time we'll win. I don't care how that works.
That's the funniest shit. I'm dying right now. So wait, hold on, Max. Please tell me the last time you played in a game wasn't the last NBA game you played in. Like, was that like the last time you ran a pickup game or whatever? Like any type of full court basketball?
I played. I think after that, I ended up playing. No.
You must have been like a celebrity game or some shit.
A couple years after.
Some kind of gig.
After I got through playing, I played on the Globetrotter tour, and we played against the Globetrotters. And we were over in Europe, and we played real games. The last time I think I actually played a game was actually in Russia, and we were in Red Square. And it was the Sabonis's dad was playing at that time.
Oh, man.
They balled out a portable goal.
He was a beast.
They balled out a portable goal. They put it in Red Square. And we came out and we played on with some former NBA players, Dan Roundfield, myself. I don't know if JoJo White, but what I remember was that the way they paid us, they gave us cash. So we came back into the States, and you don't have so much, and guys had money in their shoes and all kinds of stuff. But the experience of being in Russia was really different. I mean, what I do remember really was craziest part is there were 2 straights on the belt you put your bags on, and they were hunched in their back, and they were. I was like, what in the hell is going on? We're at the airport. This is the airport, dog. We ain't outside. This is the end of the Moscow airport. So it was, and I'm going to tell you, and I can tell you exactly what it was.
Yeah, your memory is
exactly what it was. Because this was dealing with history. The last time I played the game was when O.J. Simpson had this slow ride going on the freeway. Because we were over there watching it on TV.
Oh, the white Bronco.
That was the last time. Yeah, wow. That was the last time that I played a official game that you had referees calling the game and me running up and down the court. That was it.
That was during the NBA Finals.
That's how long ago it was. It was just funny. So yeah, that was it.
So it was a paid gig. All right, got you.
So for me so for me to walk through Equinox and have some dudes asking me about getting this some run, I was disgusted. Yo, OG.
What do I get out of this?
Another one. Josue, that's when the ones you do like this. Now, when you know me, I'm like, what the fuck? What you're asking me to do?
Like he offended you.
Yeah, he did. He did offend me. I was very offended. I was like, what? What?
Yo, OG. Yo, we need one.
OG, we need another one.
So if you did one more exhibition, man, how much you need that check to be today? For me to half court, 3-on-3. Yeah, let's say Ice Cube, our boy Ice Cube was like, man, I'm doing a Legends, 3-on-3, man. If we want you to hop on, what would you
50,000. 50,000.
50, damn, man.
50. Joe, wait a minute. Do you think I'd do it for $1,000 or 500?
I was thinking 10. 50.
Just wait. I just turned 69. How the hell do I look like I'm out there trying to run the court? That would be just sitting there. It's impossible to think about. Like, dude.
I was gonna try to get a what's it called? Those GoFund things. I was like, yo, everyone, let's all chip in. Get Max.
Yeah.
Let's get Max back on the court. Yeah, but that's too much, man. 50 is crazy.
50 G's the only way I'm going back on the court, bro. Thinking about playing anything like that. So,
Father Time, man. Oh, you know what? Speaking of Father Time, man, Father Time got the best of my favorite big three, man. They should have won 2. I always say that. Obviously, 2010 was a heartbreaking loss in Game 7, but we always look back on that team and that era for their toughness. So for Paul Pierce to bring up, the fact that that's what differentiates 08 from 24, I gotta agree with him. I think people or teams, it wasn't more of a, let's knock these guys off to show them who we are and all that. I think it was a more of intimidating in the sense of how physical they were with Perk and KG up front. I really do think when KG came to Boston, it just elevated Perk's defensive side. And I think it got the best of opponents. But what did you make of what Paul Pierce said?
Well, Leon Poe was talking about it last night. Played on that team. And he said he was talking about Darren Jackson last night, the one hand running at you. He said, man, we'd have clotheslined that dude. And he's out of fouled out. So
that sounds just like Leo.
Well, so it is there is a physicality that will never be that way again in the NBA or any sport. MMA is MMA is the only thing I can see like that. Boxing is, they'll stop a match in a minute normally if somebody's, going crazy. But, the physicality of all those sports, if you had it in baseball, in football, you think about some of the hits that guys are getting them, they were just commonplace. I think it was Trevor Lawrence, who was a quarterback for Jacksonville. Comes down.
Yeah, man. He just got a season-ending injury.
Yeah, he tries to do a hook slide, and the guy comes in, and he gives him the full elbow and the helmet and everything, and knocks, and then a big fight erupts. That to me, that during the time that I watched football, that was commonplace. If you were a quarterback and you decide to run, it was like an animal limping out on the Serengeti. Everybody was like, lunch. It's time to eat. People were thinking that this is full bore. We're gonna try to kill this dude. We're gonna try. That was the words they would say. Try to kill him. Not that they tried to make. They want. I've heard those old school guys say before. We want to maim him. We want to maim him.
Yeah.
And that just that doesn't happen anymore. So what Paul?
Yeah, that reminds me.
That
reminds me of y'all. Just real quick, but I want to get this. It reminds me of this comedian, man, who passed away, Patrice O'Neal, from Boston too. He had a bit about how nowadays it's like, oh, the poor guy's in that. He's like, but man, back in my day, he said, man, guy would be down, everyone's dancing, prancing, celebrating.
We killed the quarterback. Killed the quarterback. Yeah, remember that.
Like, I'm sorry. Yeah. And they be screaming at the mother. You shouldn't have put him out there.
Yeah. You should have had him in ice skating or something.
Yeah.
This ain't the sport.
He said it could be Pop Warner. It didn't matter. High school Pop Warner, whatever.
Yeah. Somebody hit somebody, knock him out. Yeah. Be chest bumping and all
laid
that
out. This dude's laid out, like not even moving.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But my bad. What were you gonna say about Paul though? My fault.
No, I'm just saying Paul is right when it comes to the physicality of a team, but Paul needs to let it happen this year, considering who this team is. This team is, I think they're tough-minded. They have some tough players. I like their ability to go to another level. I want to see what they're like when they're really healthy. Because right now, you're just seeing Porzingis come back. And look like yesterday, he strained his calf or something for a minute. He was running awkwardly. I was surprised he came back in the game and he knocked down some shots. He was really good in the second half. I want to see what they're like when they have a full complement, having Al Horford, having Kristoff, with all the guys they have, and give them some time to rest. I think it's going to be a nice little run that they get into here over the next month. It's going to be really nice.
Who do you think would win between the 08 and 2014? That's a tough one, man.
Not really. I think that this team weapons offensively right now. Just got too many weapons.
Too many threes.
Too many threes compared to the other team with a shot too.
Even a young Eddie House would be like, man, those dudes are making too many threes.
Oh, Eddie House would have been this. Eddie House. I've talked to Eddie before. Said, man, this is my kind of game. So the way the game has, I understand what Paul says with the physicality of that, but mind you, they would not have let the rules of the game, physicality of the game. Are you going to play the way that Paul and them played during that time?
I think that goes into the question. That would be.
Or do I ask Paul Pierce this question? How would you have played against a team in the 80s when you were when it was really physical, when you could take down a guy and nobody would say a damn thing? They'd just get up, and Right. So I like to ask Paul how he would handle 84 Boston Celtics team.
But Max, if the 08 team
Cedric
was in this era,
those four, that big four that you had there versus Perk and Ray, and who's going to be your forwards though? Because you talk KG and Perk going up against, and you put them up against Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Larry Bird, and myself. That team, the physicality alone. No, that we were so much more physical than they would have ever been. So I think you also have to put in how the rules of the game are different. Because during the time we played, that was when they started. That was what was created, the flagrant foul. Kevin Garnett would have loved that era though. He'd have loved it, but he'd had to fight. That whole thing about Cheerios,
they wouldn't be breaking up the way they did.
No, you ain't breaking up. You ain't breaking up nothing. You gonna take an ass whooping, and that was the difference between that team, because I think one of the last fights I remember. I don't remember Paul being in a fight like that in a game. I know he went scrap, but the last one I remember actually had a fight like that was Ray Allen and Keon Dooling. They were all in the front row.
Oh, that's right.
Them dudes was punching. They was swinging. And so the last time you think about it, everybody said, "Oh, was Kobe Bryant when he got the two-piece?" Chris Childs gave the two-piece.
The Chris Childs two-piece.
So Kobe like, "Whoa, what the hell was that?" So
he did one of these.
That happened. Look, let me just say this: that happened all the time during the 80s. And during the 70s, that happened all the time. So I'd ask Paul Pierce, what would you do with the 1984 Boston Celtics team versus your team right now, versus the team that he talks about?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah,
but with that being said, though, my thing is, if we're talking about those guys playing in this era, Ray Allen's averaging like 6-7 threes a night. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting because there's a lot of parts to it, and then again, you if you were allowed to play with the same physicality from 08, then that gives them a favor. That puts things in their favor as well. But yeah, it's an interesting question.
Let me ask you one more thing before we go. I was thinking about this.
What's up?
Let's drop players of the era. How would you love to see somebody like Donovan Mitchell, the Spider? You drop him into Bob Cousy's era.
Oh man. He's putting up 48 a night. Everyone would have just been staring at him like, how do we stop this dude?
And you imagine, I'm saying that step back and the crossover and the shit.
Max, people would retire, man. People would retire. They'd be like, "Yo, I'm good. This ain't my sport."
essentially, it's been like looking at the alien come in to like, there's an alien playing basketball because you think how Spider, he's so fast and strong as a guard. And remember Kuzzy and them dribbling like this in front of him. These dudes is handling, they ain't looking up, they crossing over. That was that to me. Let's find that out. Let's drop a couple players. That we're gonna do that next time. We're gonna drop a couple players into eras and see how they would operate. And then, or vice versa, this is what I'd love to do. If I could somehow put some of the great ones into this era now, how would it translate? How would the greatest player I played with would have been Akeem Olajuwon? Can I put him in this era? And is he as dominant now as he was because he didn't have the 3-point shot? Now, the second greatest player I played with was Larry Bird. This league right now is tailor-made for what Larry Bird does. Larry Bird would be Luka to the 10th power right now if he's playing in this league now because of his toughness, his ability to think the game. Luka's a hell of a player. There's no doubt about it. But what the Larry Bird I know, Larry Bird was just cutthroat. He was cutthroat. Luka's cutthroat to a degree, but Larry was a whole nother level of intelligence when it came to the opposition.
One of the greatest trash talkers, right?
Yeah, Larry Bird always said he was insulted by it, and this, we'll leave it at this. Larry Bird always said he was insulted if you put a white guy on him. Now, if you said that today, how would that register any place? But I tell you what, he didn't say that about Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones played during that era. Bobby Jones was a white guy. He's one of the best defenders I've ever played against. So, yeah, we'll leave that. And then, again, you guys always make us stronger. To that young lady, I want to holler back at you again, who was down in Atlanta, that came up to me and talked to me about, you listened to our podcast, and it was really, I've heard from a lot of different people, and I hear it all the time, but it's some way you can contact us and leave me a message. I'd love to get you one of those. How about that damn Celtic t-shirts?
Yes,
it was really cool. When I met Anna, you came up and talked about, the podcast.
Absolutely, man. We always appreciate the support, everyone. Of course, like, subscribe, share this episode, and stay tuned for the next one, man. We got Rick Mahorn joining us, the Pistons legend. Always fun having Rick, the New England's own Rick Mahorn. People tend to forget that because he loves the Celtics so much, right, Max? I mean, it's easy to forget sometimes. Or the other, there's another reason why, right? Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Cedric Maxwell Podcast. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week. He is Cedric Maxwell. I am Josue Pavon.